Let's hope the camera's in focus. I can't tell. It feels nice to be back. It feels like it has been a while, but it hasn't. I don't know. Anyways, I got a new microphone. I hope it's working well. And I hope I don't move around too much and mess up the audio anyway. Let's try. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, and now I am also recording from my camera with my new microphone. I'm excited to see the results. Welcome back to Animals with Nianne, and I'm excited to be here today. Today we're diving into the dense rainforest of Southeast Asia to meet one of the most mysterious and least studied bear species in the world, the sun bear. Or also known as the Malaysian bear, and they're also known as being called the honey bear. So they have quite a few different names. For some reason in English, when I talk about them, I call them sun bear. But when I talk about them in Dutch, I call them Malaysian bear. So I don't know why I do that. But yeah, anyway, as you might know, I love bears. I love the sun bear. I love polar bears. Did a video about polar bears before as well. If you want to watch that, you're very much welcome on my channel. I also absolutely adore the sun bear. It's the smallest bear on earth and it is insanely good at climbing trees. But there's much more to them than just that. Let's learn more about this bear. Like I've said before, the sun bear is the smallest bear, measuring just about 120 to 150 centimeters long and weighing about 25 to 65 kilograms. To put that in perspective, it's just about the size of a large dog. They're named for the unique crescent-shaped patch of pale fur on their chest, usually orange or cream colored. Each bear has a slightly different pattern, just like how everyone's fingerprints are different. One of their most fascinating features is the long tongues. They're about 25 centimeters long.
And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.
They often extract honey and insects from small places. They also have large paws with curved claws, which is perfect for climbing, tearing open logs, or defending themselves when needed. Sun bears live in the tropical lowlands forest in Southeast Asia, from northeastern India and southern China, all the way down through Myanmar, Thailand, Malaysia, and the islands of Sumatra and Borneo. They prefer a dense, evergreen rainforest, where the canopy is thick and where the forest floor is shaded and rich with vegetation. Sun bears are arboreal, meaning they spend a lot of time in trees. They make nests in trees where they can rest. These nests are often made of leaves, twigs, and other plant material they can gather. They're also known to roam through swamp areas, hill forests, and even mountainous regions up to 2,000 meters above sea level, although they're mostly found in lowland areas with dense cover. Each sun bear has a large home range. The home range of a sun bear can vary quite a bit depending whether they're male or female. Males tend to have larger home ranges, sometimes up to 27 square kilometers. Females generally have a smaller home range, often around 7 to 15 square kilometers. Sun bears are solitary animals. They live and forage alone, except for mothers when they have their cubs, or during brief mating encounters. They're mostly nocturnal in the wild, preferring to search for food at night. During the day, they often rest in their trees, curled up in their nests. They also use their nests to keep cool, avoid predators, or simply to get away from biting insects on the forest floor. However, in areas with very little human disturbances, they've also been observed being active during the day, making them cavernial, which means they can both be active during the day and night, depending on conditions. Sun bears are known to be incredibly agile climbers. They can climb vertically up in trees, using their strong claws and muscular limbs. Sometimes they're even hanging upside down like sloths. They're also surprisingly quiet and elusive. Despite being bears, they hardly ever growl or make any noise unless threatened. Most of their communication is through body language, using soft vocalizations like grunts and moans, and mothers will sometimes make a cooing sound to their cubs. When threatened, however, they can be ferocious. They have very strong jaws and are known to stand their ground, or deliver powerful bites when cornered. Something that I find very interesting is that researchers have found that they also use facial expressions to communicate, which is extremely rare among non-primate species. This suggests that they may have more complex social signaling than we previously thought, but because of their secretive nature, and the difficulty of observing them in the wild, there's still a lot that we don't know about their behavior, which makes every new discovery very interesting and more exciting. In the wild, sun bears are estimated to live around 20 to 25 years. In captivity, this can be longer because of veterinary care, food, and so on. So in captivity, they can live up to around 30 years old. Sun bears are thought to have a seasonal breeding cycle, although this can vary by region. The females are spontaneous ovulators, which mean they can release eggs without needing to mate. And by eggs, I don't mean like bird eggs, but more like the way humans also have eggs. Yeah, and even more interestingly is that they can experience pseudo-pregnancy. This is when a female's body behaves like it's pregnant, but she's not really pregnant because no mating has occurred. So why does this happen? Basically, after ovulation, a female's body produces progesterone. That hormone prepares her for pregnancy. Sometimes her hormone levels stay high, tricking her into being pregnant. This might help her prepare for when she's actually pregnant. It helps her prepare physically and behaviorally, for example, practicing nesting, conserving energy, and getting ready to care for tiny, vulnerable babies in the dense rainforest. When a real pregnancy occurs, the gestation period is around 95 days. Mothers usually give birth to one cub, although sometimes they will have twins, but this is a little bit rarer. Cubs are very tiny, they only weigh about 300 grams. They're blind and hairless at birth. They will stay with their mother for up to 2 years, learning how to forage, to climb, how to make nests, and how to survive on their own, basically. Sun bears are omnivores, which means they can eat pretty much anything they want. They're also very highly opportunistic eaters. They love insects, especially termites, ants, beetles, and bees. And they will tear apart logs to eat larvae. Their long tongues help them to slurp up honey and insects that are in tight spaces. Fruit is also a major part of their diet, particularly figs and other seasonal rainforest fruits. By eating and dispersing seeds, the sun bears actually play a very critical role in the rainforest ecosystem. Occasionally, they also eat small vertebrates, bird eggs, or carrion if available. Sadly enough, sun bears are listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. The populations have declined over 30% the last 30 years. This is so incredibly sad because these bears are so amazing, and they truly do not deserve this. The reasons why the population have declined so much the last few years is because of deforestation, poaching, human-wildlife conflict, and because of climate change. And I want to say a little bit more about these topics. First of all, the deforestation. Massive logging and old palm plantations are destroying the rainforest habitat. Now, the last couple of years, these industries have been growing and putting more strain on these ecosystems, where the sun bears and so many other animals live. And the second topic, poaching. Sun bears, especially back in the days, I don't think it happens that much anymore, thanks to conservation efforts and laws and so on, but bears were killed for their bile, which was or is used in traditional medicine. And they were also killed for their paws, which is considered a delicacy. And another sad thing is that cubs are usually taken from the wild for illegal pet trade. And because of massive logging and old palm plantations, the forest is shrinking, and bears are often pressured to raid farms or get in contact with humans because their homes are gone. They have to go somewhere else, right, to survive. So they have to do what they can to do, and sometimes, unfortunately, that is stealing food for humans or going into areas where humans live, which results in human-wildlife conflict. Rightfully so, the farmers aren't happy that food is being stolen from the lands. But yeah, we have to consider both roles of the farmers, of the humans, and of the bears. Another problem is also climate change with most animals. Increasing forest fires and droughts that threaten the food patterns, making food less predictable. Luckily, there are dedicated groups working to protect some bears. I wrote down the first organization. I have 4 organizations in total. The first one is Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center, or BSBCC, in SAMBA, Malaysia. They rescue and rehabilitate orphaned and captive bears with the goal of releasing them back into the wild. I think this sounds amazing. I really like sanctuaries like that. The second organization I wrote down is SAMBA Lestari Sanctuary. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I don't know. It's located in Indonesia, and they care for over 70 rescued sun bears in semi-wild forest enclosures. Maybe the number has changed right now, I'm not totally sure if it's still up to date. The third organization is Istituto Oikos, in Myanmar. Again, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. But they conduct field research and community-based conservation projects. And the last organization I wrote down is the Survival of the Sun Bears. This is an international campaign raising awareness about palm oil, poaching, and habitat protection. Thank you all for joining me on this adventure into enjoying the world of sun bears. Although they're the smallest bear species, they play an important role in ecosystems in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, also the least studied bears and very threatened. But thanks to the hard work of conservation centers, researchers, and local communities, there's hope for the future. If you would like to help, you can support one of the organizations that I mentioned before, or make sustainable choices like avoiding unsustainable palm oil. As usual, I'll link the sources and organizations down below in the description box. Feel free to ask any questions that you have about sun bears or about any other animals. Whatever you have on your mind, feel free to do so. I would love to talk more about the sun bears or just animals in general. And if you want to watch more educational videos about animals, please subscribe. And if you like this video, please leave a like. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.